Hello, take six, a whole different day than the day that I started. This lesson is for educational purposes only. It is not financial, legal, medical, emergency management, insurance, or safety advice. The goal is to help people understand preparedness, emergency money, evacuation planning, food safety, household readiness, and practical habits that can protect stability. Always follow local emergency officials, weather alerts, evacuation orders, and guidance from qualified safety professionals. In the financial literacy playlist, we have talked about awareness, budgeting, money, leaks, emergency funds, credit, interest, discipline, income, financial myths, vehicles, banking, and the psychology behind financial choices. Now, on chapter 13, we need to talk about something that can interrupt all of that progress: a disaster, hurricane, flood, tornado, winter storm, wildfire, a power outage, a water outage, a medical emergency, a mandatory evacuation, a job interruption. A natural disaster does not care that you just started budgeting. A power outage does not care that you just purchased groceries. A hurricane does not care that your emergency fund is only halfway built. A flood does not care that you plan to save next month. That is why financial literacy has to include disaster preparation. Because if you live in an area where storms, floods, hurricanes, wildfires, freezes, or power outages are possible, then preparation is not fair. Not to mention, we're in El Nino right now. So people are going to see unprecedented weather things happen in their area anyway, even if you may not have seen it. And it's really not anything to be afraid of because you live on planet Earth where we literally have earthquakes every single day. You just don't hear about it. Preparation is wisdom. This lesson is about building a disaster fund, planning evacuation routes, checking on people, managing food, keeping your home clean, learning basic survival skills, and avoiding dangerous mistakes during power outages. The goal is not panic, the goal is readiness. I dare you to panic. As much negative information the average online user consumes on a daily basis, when you coming back down to reality about things that you actually have control over, of course there will be panic because it makes people realize how much of their life that they haven't been paying attention to and putting energy towards. Chapter 1: Disaster Money is Financial Literacy. Welcome back to this financial literacy series. Today we are talking about disaster preparation, and some people may ask, what does this have to do with money? If you're asking those kinds of questions, get the hell out of my video. Honestly, it's a war on intelligence, and I'm ready to drop the atomic bomb. I'm not tolerating any stupidity or ignorance. If you want to be ignorant, continue living your life in a repeat pattern, and then 10, 20 years from now, you're going to wonder what happened to right now. What does everything? Because disasters cost money, evacuating costs money, gas costs money, hotels, food, medicine, supplies, pet care, insurance deductibles, repairs cost money, replacing spoiled food costs money, missing work costs money, and if you're not prepared, a natural disaster can push you into debt, overdrafts, payday loans, credit balances, missed bills, and emotional panic. So, yes, disaster preparedness is financial literacy. It is not about just surviving the storm, it is about protecting the stability you have been building. Because people often start saving, and when emergencies happen, it could literally knock them out of the cycle of saving and back to drowning again. Earlier in the series, we talked about building an emergency fund. That is still important, but I also want to introduce the idea of a disaster fund. An emergency fund helps with everyday emergencies: a tire, a copay, a bill, a small repair, temporary income gap. A disaster fund is more specific. It is money set aside for events that can disrupt your entire life at once: evacuation, hotel stays, extra fuel, extra food, ice, water, batteries, pet supplies, medicine, backup transportation, replacing spoiled food, insurance deductibles, a generator or power bank if appropriate, temporary lodging. A disaster fund does not have to start big. Start with $25, 50, 100, 250, 500. The first goal is not perfection. The first goal is separation. This money has a job. And its job is to help you move, survive, and recover when life gets interrupted. Chapter 3: disaster preparation is not paranoia. Some people avoid disaster planning because they do not want to think about bad things happening. They say, I will figure it out when it happens. I do not want to live in fear. It probably will not be that bad. Someone will help me. But preparation is not paranoia. Preparation is self respect. It means you respect your life enough to think ahead. You respect your household enough to make a plan. You respect your money enough to avoid unnecessary panic spending. You respect your future enough not to wait until the last minute. Panic is expensive. Planning is cheaper. Chapter 4, evacuation routes need options. If you live in a disaster prone area, especially a hurricane or flood zone, you need evacuation routes planned before the emergency. Not one route, multiple routes, because during a disaster, the route you prefer may not be available. Roads may flood, traffic may be extreme, gas stations may run out, bridges may close, accidents may block highways, your phone may lose service. So your planning should include primary route, backup route, third route if possible. Where will you go? Who will you stay with? How much gas you need? Where you can stop? Which roads flood easily? Which route avoids the most risk? Where shelters may be if needed? If you have pets, know which places accept pets. If you have medical needs, know where care may be available. A disaster is not the time to start guessing. The plan should already exist. And there's someone who family stayed for Katrina for 7 days and didn't leave until after, and I-10 was shut down. A hurricane preparedness map that a 14-year-old, before Katrina and then after Katrina, I was 15, picked up from Walmart. I don't even shop at Walmart anymore, but picked up from the store, and that map was seen as trash when I picked it up. But when we needed to evacuate and the adults did not know how to get out of New Orleans because they never got out of New Orleans, that map is what got us to Beaumont, Texas. Just wanted to leave that right there. Chapter 5, know who you are responsible for. This disaster planning is not only about you, you also need to think about the people connected to you. And for people who have to worry about other people in these types of situations that's not in their household, my heart goes out to you. That used to be me. Keyword used to. Who will you check on? Who may need help evacuating? Who is elderly? Who has children? Who has pets? Who has a disability? Who needs medication? Who does not drive? Who may not understand alerts? Who may panic? Who may refuse to leave? Maybe if you're from Louisiana, people historically did not evacuate for many of these hurricanes. And even after the big K, not vitamin K, but Katrina, people still don't leave. Like for Ida, so many people were still here. Even though people still, like a person who did leave may project their identity to say, well, I left, so that means everyone didn't stay. Okay, silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. You cannot responsibly help everyone at the last minute if you have no plan. So before disaster season, have conversations. Ask, what is your plan if we have to evacuate? Where would you go? Do you have transportation? Do you have medicine? Do you have documents? Do you have pet supplies? Do you want me to check on you? This is not about becoming responsible for everyone's life. It is about knowing the role you can realistically play without destroying your own safety. Without destroying your own safety. Without destroying your own safety. Boundaries make it and matter even in disasters. Chapter 6, communication plans matter. A communication plan matters because disasters can interrupt normal contact. Phones may die, service may be weak, internet may go out, power may be down, people may be separated. So have a communication plan. Write down important numbers on paper. Do not rely on your phone. Choose an out of town contact if possible. Create a family or household group chat before the emergency. Decide when you will check in. Decide where you will meet the separated. Keep chargers and power banks ready. Keep your phone charged when severe weather is possible. Download maps offline if needed. Financial literacy is not just money, it is reducing chaos before chaos arrives. And how you know I'm a flexible king? I entered in recommendations for group chats, but I personally am anti group chat in my phone. So, but I definitely understand that many birds need to chirp in a group. So you can chirp to safety because real birds chirp to safety too. So it's not a bad thing to be a bird during an emergency because birds actually can detect the environment a little bit better than we can. Chapter 7, Documents and Financial Records. Disasters can damage paperwork, floods, fires, evacuations, and power outages can separate you from important documents. So create a document plan. Keep copies of important records in a safe, waterproof place if possible. That may include ID, insurance policies, medical information, medication lists, bank information, lease or mortgage information, vehicle documents, pet records, emergency contacts, important receipts, photos or videos of your home and belongings. If you need to file an insurance claim, apply for assistance, replace documents, prove ownership, or access accounts, records matter. The middle of a disaster is not the time to search for everything. Preparation helps recovery move faster. And also, if you're someone who may actively apply for jobs or you've applied for something that required those documents, it can be easy to not put them back, especially if you had to use it in multiple places. Just do regular checkups on important stuff like that. Like that can actually be the time you replace picking up your phone if you're at home. That could be the time you replace having pointless conversations with people that hold the phone just to have company. Like you can use, however, I don't know what your house looks like. So I can't give it an estimate. That would be selfish to just say, oh, it only take 10 minutes. You might live in a mansion. I don't know. So just take the time you need. Those types of things. When you just give it a little bit here and there, you don't have to go balls to the walls with just all of a sudden becoming an overly organized person. But if you just start putting time, the first time you can do 1 minute and you can set the limit of how many sessions. You might check on stuff 1 minute a week, and then that turns to 2 minutes a week. But get your life organized so that when it's time to seek things that your house has, you're not having to tear the house up. Because what happens is when we live unorganized lives and our home is always in disarray, it's like living in a storage. You always have to dig through stuff to get to stuff. You don't remember where the outfit is at because you have all kind of clothes you don't wear. You don't remember where the document is at because you have a junk drawer full of random pieces of mail. And the origin of those things vary person to person, but as long as you are able to realize that you're doing it, you can change it. Chapter 8, Keep Cash but Keep It Safely. Digital money is useful, but disasters can disrupt systems. Bank cards, payment apps, and digital wallets are very useful. Power can fail, card machines can stop working, ATMs can be unavailable, banks may close, internet may be weak. So having some emergency cash can be helpful. This does not mean keeping huge amounts of cash in unsafe places. It means having a reasonable amount for your situation. Gas, food, water, ice, transportation, small emergency purchases. Cash is not the whole plan, but it can be part of the plan. The key is balance. Use banking for protection and records. Use a small amount of cash for emergency flexibility. Chapter 9, The Clean Home Advantage. Now let's talk about something people do not always connect to disaster preparation, keeping a clean home. A clean home is not just about appearance. A clean home helps you prepare faster. You can find supplies, documents, flashlights, leaks, pests, move quickly, pack faster, reduce fire hazards. You can reduce mold risks. You can avoid spoiled food hiding in the back of the freezer or the fridge. If a power outage happens and your freezer is full of mystery meat from last year, now you have another problem. Smell, waste, contamination, cleanup, stress. A clean and organized home is a disaster preparation tool. It is not about perfection, it is about control. For the people during Katrina that didn't experience too much flooding, because of course, certain areas in the city is below sea level and they have some that's maybe a few feet above. Even if they didn't flood, a lot of people homes were destroyed due to the freezer and the refrigerator and all of the leakage and the buildup and the enclosure and things like that. Chapter 10, use the food you already have. Before disaster season, look at your refrigerator, freezer, and pantry. What do you actually have? What is old? What needs to be used? What is expired? What is buried in the freezer? What will spoil if the power went out? A lot of people keep food for so long that they forget it exists. Then when the power goes out, they lose food they were not even using. That is money wasted twice. First, when it was bought. Second, when it spoiled. So rotate your food. Use older freezer items first. Label food with dates. Keep a freezer inventory. Do not let last year's ground beef become this year's power outage problem. Your refrigerator and freezer are a part of your financial system. Food waste is not food waste is a money leak. Disaster prep helps you reduce that leak. It will also help too if you are honest with yourself instead of keep telling yourself that you're going to use something later and time continues to pass with you having it. Just throw it away and make more conscious decisions in the future and be more realistic with yourself. If you eat out every day, there's literally no point in you buying food if you don't cook, unless it's things that like are fruits, vegetables, like the small things you can eat. If you plan to stop eating out, you have to first break the pattern, because when we do things in repetition, it becomes a pattern of ours, and sometimes the programming in our brain will pick it up and we end up doing it without us even consciously thinking about it. And that's why emotional regulation is important, because when you are emotionally unregulated, you tend to have very explosive emotions. And when you're having explosive emotions, your body will default to whatever programs you have set up because you're unable to consciously make decisions at that point. That is why people who are bored, if your pattern is to pull out your phone, you may pull out your phone anywhere. You may catch yourself pulling out your phone during an interview and having to catch yourself. That is all connected. Word to manifest. Chapter 11, food safety during power outages. Food safety matters during power outages. Keep refrigerator and freezer doors closed as much as possible. Use appliance thermometers if you can. Have coolers and ice available if needed. Know that some food may become unsafe if it stays too warm for too long. This is where people can make dangerous mistakes. They smell the food and think it is fine. They taste something and think it is fine, but unsafe food does not always announce itself. Food poisoning during a disaster is the last thing you need. So learn food safety before the outage happens. And remember, when in doubt, throw it out. That can hurt financially, but getting sick can cost even more. Chapter 12, learn to grill, but grill safely. Learning to grill can be a valuable life skill. During outages, grilling can help you cook food that might otherwise spoil. It can help you feed your household. It can help you use what you have, avoid wasting food. It can also build confidence. But grilling must be done safely. Grills are for outside, not inside, not in the garage, not near the doors. And also don't get caught with the trap of thinking that you have the grill further enough away, but the wind direction is blowing it back in towards your home, because that's the same thing as having it in your home. Not near windows, not in enclosed spaces. Charcoal and propane devices can produce carbon monoxide, and carbon monoxide can kill. Also use safe food handling. Keep raw meat separate. Cook food to safe temperatures. Use clean tools. Do not cross contaminate. Do not let panic cooking become unsafe cooking. A grill can be a tool, but like money, tools require knowledge. Chapter 13, carbon monoxide and fire risks. Carbon monoxide is dangerous because you cannot see it or smell it. During power outages, people sometimes use unsafe methods to cook, heat, or power their homes. Never use generators, grills, charcoal burners, camp stoves, or gasoline powered devices inside the home, garage, or carport, or near doors, windows, or vents. They can produce carbon monoxide. Candles are also risky, mostly because of fire hazards. Candles can also produce carbon monoxide too. If you have candles burning in a small enclosed area that's not ventilated, it can definitely produce carbon monoxide. People underestimate it because it's candles, but people died from it. So I mean, maybe that should be significance enough. I don't know. I don't even. I begin to question how much value human life is to other humans, because it seems like human life value is based off of so many moving parts. Like all lives, like deaths are not considered the same to people, which is strange. But hey, if you use candles, use extreme caution. Keep them away from curtains, bedding, paper, children, pets, and anything that can burn. Battery powered lights are usually safer. Carbon monoxide alarms matter. Smoke alarms matter. Fire extinguishers matter. Disaster preparation is not just having supplies, it is knowing how not to accidentally create another disaster. And another mistake I saw during the winter storm in Houston a few years ago was that people did not know that when you are using your car for power, you have to have it running, which means you also need to have gas to be able to fill it up in case you have it running for X amount of time. Because when you use the battery without the car running, you are actively depleting the battery at a high rate. That is why most vehicles, after a certain year, will trigger a shut off after so long of the car running with no power on. Chapter 14, the Disaster Supply Kit. A disaster supply kit should be built before you need it. Basic supplies may include water, non perishable food, manual can opener, flashlights, batteries, battery powered or hand crank radio, first aid supplies, medication, copies of documents, phone chargers, power banks, hygiene supplies, trash bags, gloves, pet supplies, baby supplies if needed. And if you have a cat, baby, please keep up with the kitty litter. Don't think just changing the litter is the thing. You literally have to clean the box because it clumps. And if you have clumps and you just continuously put new litter over clumps, when that power will go out, all of that smell is going to come back to haunt you, literally. If I mean, but you may be nose blind if you don't clean your litter box because it is a horrible smell, especially if you have someone cat sit and you volunteer to bring the litter, and the first thing they smell is that stench. Like, and the thing about cat smells, they have so many enzymes in they fluids that they leave smells. If it's not like you have to be very clean. Yes, cats clean themselves, but you have to clean the cat too. Pause. Comfort items if needed, but your kit should match your life. Do you have children, pets, medical needs, mobility needs, dietary needs, elderly family, work equipment, important documents? The kit is not about copying someone else perfectly. It's about asking, what will my household need if normal life stopped for several days? Try to also get you and your people, your groups of people, whatever that may be, because everyone has different groups that they hang around. Used to board games, to puzzles, to reading. Like you don't necessarily have to just become an avid reader, reading novels every day, but have alternate options because the reliance on electricity and technology will be the undoing of many during disasters. People are not able to go minutes without their phone, so during extended power outages, just imagine the pandemonium. Medication and health needs. If you take medication, have a plan. Know what medications you need. No refill dates. Keep a medication list. Keep your know your pharmacy information. And if you use Walgreens, they have your list on their website. If that's the only place you get refilled, but if you have doctors that may send prescriptions to different places, then it won't be kept in one place, of course. But there are many apps for that. There you have your notes section in your phone, which is free 99 a month, where you can intentionally keep records of information and be sure to have it backed up to the cloud if needed. That could be a separate video on technology literacy. But yeah, notes section is free. A lot of these apps that we get because it makes the plan we have feel more likely to succeed can be wasteful because the note section is right there. Disasters can increase stress, they can disrupt sleep, they can trigger anxiety, trauma, grief, or panic. So mental health belongs in the preparedness plan too. Preparation gives your nervous system something to hold on to. And try if you have the ability to evacuate early, try to evacuate earlier because with us having this huge epidemic in distracted driving. Road rage has always been a thing, but it seems like I mean, every time it's a road rage incident, it makes you feel like in the moment road rage is getting worse. But I never looked at the statistics, so I can't factually say that. But the point is to not get caught in the last minute traffic, because I can only imagine how much more dangerous it will be now, because these distracted drivers don't care. They don't care about conditions. Like they if it's pouring down rain and they're still driving distracted. If it's 100 degrees outside and the roads are buckling, they still driving distracted. Like, it's a very spooky thing, because these people look just like the movies that they made about the future. And those same people are probably so busy trolling someone's comments, they don't even look at the reality around them in the world, because they're so connected to being connected to the internet at all times. You can't be a sane person being chronically online. You miss so much about the world around you. Humans have not had technology long enough for our evolution to be able to adapt to people having this much access to the internet all day long. Like, it literally, you can't have a sense of reality if you're always on the internet, because it's too much misinformation, it's too many personalities, it's too much emotion going on. Majority of the content that has a lot of views is emotion fueled, whether the person may not mean it who posted it, but the people watching it are reactionary to it. That's not a safe thing. And I understand that history has shown that clearly society has always been divided by the way people think, and it cuts itself into many categories. So we just see it in real time online. Chapter 16: Pets are part of the plan. Shout out to the people who leave their pets during disasters, and the people who, when we just had that tropical storm or whatever it was, where the water was rising out here, that pets were outside. Like, it was animals coming up to me trying to get in my house, and it's like, I love helping people, but baby, I'm allergic. I'm allergic. I can interact with pets, but if you come in my house and your dander and stuff start circulating, no, I'm good. I do not want to be ashy and rashy Larry. If you have pets, they need to be part of the plan: food, water, medication, leash, carrier, waste bags, vaccination records, ID tags, microchip information, comfort item, pet friendly shelter or hotel options. Do not wait until evacuation day to find out where your pet can go. Some people stay in dangerous situations because they do not have a plan for pets. That is why planning early matters. Your pet depends on your preparation. And also, to bring people to reality, and I want to apologize for bringing you to reality. If you have a pet and you love your pet, just know that not everyone does. Not everyone loves their pet. People get pets. Some people really view pets. Some people even view children as inanimate objects that don't have feelings, and that as long as you do the basics, and sometimes some people don't even do the basics, that's enough. Like, there are legit people who will neglect their animals, but when the animal run away, they're on next door and all these other apps. Oh, my animal ran away. Some of them neglect their pet so much they don't even realize when somebody else took it to get it to a better environment, and they thinking it's just roaming outside because they that neglectful. Chapter 17: Transportation and fuel. Your evacuation plan needs transportation. If you drive, do not wait until the last minute to get gas. Keep your vehicle maintained. Know your tire condition. Know your battery condition. Keep important items in the car. If you do not drive, plan ahead. Who can take you? Is there public transportation? Are there city evacuation options? Are there shelters? Can you coordinate with family, friends, neighbors, or community programs? If you rely on rides, do not assume someone will be available. Ask before the emergency. Make a backup plan. Transportation is not just convenience during a disaster, it can be survival. And this is also where adult relationships become important. I understand that many people carried a lot of fickle friendships from childhood all the way up into the 20s or whatever phase your boundaries was the lowest, and you met people and you want to keep the duration going. But this is the time to where you have to be, well, it's always been the time, but this is a reminder that you should be intentional with the connections in your life. Look at the history with people. Look at who historically has been reliable, who has historically been unreliable. For sake of FEMA and food stamps, please do not rely on people who have disappointed you in the past and shows that it's a pattern, regardless of what the excuse is, regardless of what your hopes are, because hope floats, but you don't. So be realistic with yourself. And it is okay if you have to accept the pain that maybe you are surrounded by a bunch of unreliable people, especially if you are the sugar friend, not sugar daddy, sugar mama, but sugar friend. You are the friend that's always giving what you have to support people. Then, yeah, definitely make sure you have plans and be realistic. And if you do feel alone with people, maybe you should really be alone. Like, why waste energy feeding relationships that starve you? It doesn't make any sense, but it doesn't make sense because it's a natural human thing for people to want to be a part of groups and want to be a part of crowds. We have to disable that feature ourselves. It's like when you're going to a website and they automatically accept all cookies, including the advertiser cookies and the analytical marketing cookies. You have to reject those cookies yourself. Otherwise, just browsing through the website, you get my drift. And of course, the whole podcast playlist have all types of different videos related to that. So if this is your first video, then you have a lot more to watch or listen to, because this content doesn't need to be watched unless you like visuals. Insurance and disaster recovery. Insurance is a part of disaster preparation. Do you know what your policy covers? Do you know your deductible? Do you know whether you have flood coverage? Do you know whether renter's insurance covers your belongings? Do you know how to file a claim? Do you have photos or videos of your belongings? Do you have receipts for major purchases? Do you know your policy number? Many people do not understand insurance until after the damage happens. That is risky. Read your policies before disaster season. Ask questions, take photos, make a home inventory, store documents safely. Insurance may not solve everything, but understanding your coverage can create more stress when you are already dealing with loss. Not to mention, all floods are not created equal. For insurance, especially the insurance I have had, when my apartment flooded last year, rest in peace to that apartment, they did not cover a lot of it because their rates of coverage varied between natural disaster flooding and sewage flooding. And my apartment was a sewage flood. So yeah, those things matter. And also, organization matters when it comes to claims, lawsuits, any type of thing where you have to prove what you're saying to be true. Organization will save your life. If you are naturally an unorganized person, you can change that. All of these different things that we have, I'm not organized, I'm not a cleaning person, I'm not a cooking person. That is not set in stone. You can become anything you want. A lot of you people were not alcoholics, but you seamlessly became one. A lot of people were not club hopping, needing to always be on the scene, but you made yourself into that. The same way you can make yourself into all of your negative traits, you can do it for the positive. So if you would like to live a life of redundancy, repeat patterns, woe is me, the devil is busy, whatever enemy your tribe is destined to be enemies with is the person who caused it, even though they're not even present in the situations, then have fun with that. But if you want to have a sensible life to where you have gratitude, appreciation, you can discuss dangers because you understand safety. You don't always have to feel like, oh my God, destroying your nervous system with unnecessary worries from ghosts that haven't even occurred yet. Then, have fun. Send me a postcard. Many people do not understand insurance until after the damage happens. That is risky. Read your policies before disaster season. Ask questions. Chapter 19, Community and Check-in Plan. Community matters during disasters. but you help better when you are prepared. If you are unprepared, you may become another person who needs rescue. If you are prepared, you may be able to check on other safety. Think about your circle. Who might need a text? Who might need a ride? Who might need help understanding alerts? Who might need medication support? Who might need help with pets? Who might need help with after power return? But remember, helping people does not mean ignoring your safety. You cannot pour from an empty emergency kit. Prepare yourself first so you can help responsibly. And again, verify your history with these people, because if you are an overgiver, or you still in your people pleasing era, doing all of this stuff is adding to that bank account of resentment you're building up for these people. So if you know deep down you may be feeling a discomfort about the fact that you overextend and people don't appreciate it, baby, that's resentment. And believe you me, resentment, if you want to knock down the building, the resentment is stronger than any crane. I can tell you that from personal experience. Chapter 20, the psychology of waiting too long. A lot of people wait too long. They wait to buy supplies, wait to get gas, wait to clean, wait to check food, wait to charge devices, wait to make calls, wait to decide where to go, wait until the storm is closer, until everyone else is panicking. This is human. The brain sometimes avoids scary information, but denial is expensive. Last minute prices may rise, shelves may be empty, roads may be packed, gas may be harder to find, stress may be higher, mistakes may increase. Preparation is doing the calm work before the crisis makes everything loud. I'm always amazed at how the water section gets no love on a regular day. No love at all. Every, like, probably 300 days out of the year, no one cares about the water section except me. Every time I'm coming to the register with my 6+ cases of water, I always get these questions about, is there a storm coming? Like, no, water doesn't expire as fast as most things. So for me, why would I not just have it stocked up, especially during hurricane season, at minimum to be at least 3 cases in the lead, so that in the event any of these things happen, I'm not one of those people having to go to the store for that. Like, the less you need to go to the store for, and the things that don't expire is the things that should be easier to keep. Not to mention, they now have flashlights that can be USB charged. And from my testing of the ones I purchased a few years ago, they hold charges for a long time. So if you haven't charged it in the years for some of them, you can count on them to turn on. But also knowing that a disaster is on the way, it takes nothing to just throw it on the charger right quick. And they have like 3 and 4 packs and things like that. But depending on the situation, if a person can leave, I will always hope that they leave, because people think about the day of whatever the weather event is, but they always underestimate the aftermath. The aftermath is where the real danger happens. Like, it might be a 100% survival rate for a hurricane, a blizzard, or whatever, but then the days that follow, the power outages, the dangerous debris outside, people trying to, like, walk down a street and don't realize it's a down power line, and then they hit a puddle, and then they fry like Popeyes at 10 a.m. Disaster spending traps. Oh yeah, I forgot. We definitely in danger now. I wasn't even thinking about the social media aspect of all of this and the consumerism aspect. Ooh, yeah. Sorry to y'all. Disasters can create panic spending. People buy random items, too much of one thing, not enough of another. Items they do not know how to use, food they will not eat, tools they do not understand, generators without safety knowledge, candles without fire safety, expensive supplies at the last minute. Preparation is not buying everything. Preparation is buying the right thing slowly and intentionally. Build over time. One flashlight this month, extra water next month, power bank later, first aid refill after that. Important documents organized, a small disaster fund, a better plan. This is how you build without overwhelming your budget. And Dollar Tree did raise prices, and then they also added a section of items that's not a dollar, and but they still are reasonable for a person to create a first aid kit from using the items there with the band-aids, the peroxide, the rubbing alcohol, and also for peroxide, that's not meant for all wounds. I get that it's a folk remedy, but someone tried to get me to put peroxide on my skin graft, and the doctor was glad that I didn't listen to them because that would have destroyed my skin graft when it was healing. The cleanup fund. People often prepare for the storm but forget the cleanup. After a disaster, you may need trash bags, gloves, cleaning supplies, mold prevention supplies. But plot twist, if you already have mold, never mind. Laundry money, gas, replacement food, hotel money, tools, repairs, transportation, deductibles, storage. A disaster fund should think about recovery, not just evacuation. The event may last one day, but recovery can last weeks or months. So ask, what would it cost me to get back to normal? Maybe if the disaster is bad enough, there is no normal at that point. You have to recreate another normal because depending on what the disaster destroyed, certain things may not be available to be a part of the normal palette. The question helps you prepare more realistically. Chapter 23. If you're starting from nothing, started from the bottom, now you here. If you're starting from nothing, do not shame yourself. Start small. 1 gallon of water, one flashlight, one pack of batteries, one can opener, one printed contact list, one label folder, one frozen meal used before it expire, $1 in the disaster fund, one conversation with family or whoever you value, one evacuation route written down, one habit change. Preparedness is not built in one shopping trip. It is built through repeated small decisions. Built from the bottom still applies. The goal is not to look prepared. The goal is to become prepared. And also lessen your dependency on GPS too. I use it for traffic purposes, but I definitely make sure to learn the exits when I have to go places frequently, or even if I don't have to go places frequently, I learn how to use the mile markers. Because if you ever needed roadside assistance, or in the future, hopefully you don't experience it, but if you ever need roadside assistance, mile markers may save your life. There, when I did roadside assistance in 2009, because remember, I've had like 9 different career paths, so yeah, all too well, 10-minute version. People were not knowing their mile markers, but me being skilled at my job and being an overachiever, which is so funny because in regular life, people will shame you, people will treat you all kind of nasty because the fact that you are correct and you're thorough in your research, but that same behavior saved people lives when I did roadside assistance. Because while my coworkers struggled to find people because they only were focusing, they were hoping that every customer had all of the information. I learned about probing questions. I learned about asking them what was the last exit they saw, and then asking them about different questions and able to use the mile marker to find them on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere. So maybe mile markers can save you. Like when you're driving on road trips, you don't need to write down every mile marker, but at least be paying attention to it. If you have to say it out loud, like sing it, do something to bring it in the physical world. Because when you just looking at information, but you don't process it in your body to say it, like if you see mile marker 424, you can make it a song while you singing the songs that you playing. Like if you listening to whatever you listen to, you see mile marker 424. 424, we at the door. And then you see 426. 426, we in the sticks. That way, God forbid, if anything happens or whatever your higher power forbid, whatever happens, you can remember, okay, 10 minutes ago, I seen mile marker 424. That way, a person who's coming to give you roadside assistance can at least know, start at 424 and just keep pushing forward, and then they'll eventually find you because some people end up not making it home when they're not found on the side of the road, especially if you're in areas that are known to have shady interstate activity. A lot of them. This week's action plan. Here is your action plan for this week. And remember, as always, like I said in the previous 12 lessons, action plans are done based off of who you are. This is just a generic idea. You adjust it to what you are. It's like making a profile. The profile is blank. You put your name, you put your profile photo. Your location is not going to be the same as everyone else's. Your bio is not going to be the same. I mean, what you back in the day it wasn't the same. Nowadays we have carbon copy people everywhere. So depending, nevertheless, step one, choose a disaster fund goal. Start with 25, 50, or $100. Step two, write down 3 evacuation options. Step three, make a list of people you would check on. Step four, clean your fridge and freezer. Step five, use older food first. Step six, check your flashlight, batteries, chargers, power banks. Step seven, write down important contacts on paper. Step eight, review your insurance basics. Step nine, learn one food safety or grilling safety rule. Step 10, start building your disaster kit one item at a time. The goal is not fear, the goal is control. Really, a cheat code to the insurance thing is they literally have customer service agents. And if you have to deal with AI when you first call, just keep saying representative or whatever prompt, whatever it takes to get you to a live person. But you can have your questions written down via notes or whatever and call your insurance company and they can answer those questions for you. That way you don't have to navigate the documents because according to statistics, not me, this is not my thoughts, over 60% of Americans are functionally illiterate. So you may not be knowing these things due to the fact of not being able to read them. So you can definitely call and find out. In closing, disaster preparation is financial literacy because a disaster can expose every weak place in your plan. No emergency fund, no disaster fund, no evacuation route, no food plan, no document plan, no insurance understanding, no transportation plan, no communication plan, no safety knowledge, no backup. But this is not about fear. It is about empowerment. It is about giving yourself options. It is about protecting your household. It is about keeping one disaster from becoming 5 disasters. Build the emergency fund, build the disaster fund, plan your routes, know who you will check on, keep your home clean enough to move quickly and recover better. Use the food you already have, learn to grill safely, respect carbon monoxide, respect fire, respect food safety, respect preparation, and remember, panic is expensive. Preparation is power. Your future does not only need money, your future needs a plan. I realize my content may be the antithesis to rage bait because rage bait is meant on your emotions, and my content is meant on actually controlling your emotions and living a realistic life, I believe. But that is it for this video. If you hear my voice, that means you made it to the end. And it's the end of the video, but it's not the end of the content. So you have a great day and continue, if this is the type of content you into, continue growing as a person and learning from your mistakes. Mistakes are lessons. That's not stuff to regret, they're lessons. If you fail a test, you can regret the test, but you can also study and pass the next test. That's literally what life is. Literally, I say it like it's just so simple. It's all so simple. It's really not. It's very complicated, but I don't want you to know that. Have a good day.